A little roll call. Just announce yourself. Micah Morrison.
Here.
Elena Amanova.
Here.
Barbara Williams.
Here.
Erica Cooper. Erica Cooper.
Just somebody else, please.
She's in the meeting. I can see her.
She's here.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
someone knocks over. I don't really care. Ready? Got your marks. Wait for the whistle. Set.
Okay, can you mute that? Okay, so that's Andy.
That is Andy.
That's Andy Matus King here. Okay, good. We see you, Andy. Then, Howard Pollock.
Present.
Robert Tamayev.
Here.
And Vijay Ramjatan. I'm here. Crystal Weiss, we see you here. Thank you so much. Did I miss anyone?
You got Erica, right? I'm sorry.
Yes, that's okay. I called you Erica.
I
You were here.
unmuted. Okay.
Great. So once again, can you, Andy, we have to mute you.
No.
Thank you.
I muted him.
Thank you. So good afternoon once again to all of you. Welcome to CEC District 28's monthly calendar meeting, May 7th, 2020. On behalf of our entire council, including our administrative assistant, Crystal Weiss, we want to welcome all of you to this monthly meeting, a meeting where we as a community meet, we greet, we talk, we exchange, we agree to disagree, but also we look forward to bigger and better times, better days, because we always believe as CEC28, the voice of our parents, our constituents is so important to us. And we are so happy that, you know, it says sometimes through tragedy, there's some kind of glory, there's some kind of bliss, right? Our meetings, and we have them, we will have approximately, you know, various amount of parents, but through this virtual world, we are able to connect with so many parents of our district. From all parts of our district in the comfort of their homes. And we're so happy to have your faces on. So please feel free to put your videos on. We would love to see faces. Faces are great. In this time that we are all facing right now, we are not seeing regular people or regular faces or community. And this is a safe space where you can feel free to show your face. We want to see you, right? Also, we want you to see us. That's why we look nice, right? Some of us shaved and stuff, right? My dear friends, we are in tough times. We are in tough times. And as a district, as your president of this council and our District 28, I understand what us as parents are facing. I am a parent also of 3 beautiful children where I have to homeschool all 3 of them and also do my full-time work. The challenges are real. The struggle is real when it comes to time management and also keeping on top of all the updates and about grades and about equipment and about when and how and graduation, and this stuff. So we understand the uncertainty, because a lot of our parents in our community spent a lot of money sending their kids at extra schooling, extra classes to build them to take the school's exams and the tests to get into specialized school, because this is what we do the best for our children. And we understand, I understand the frustration you're feeling where all that in some way or the other is like, well, why, right? And we pressure our kids to do all these things, and now what, right? The uncertainty, the big question mark. I hear you, we hear you. And we have some wonderful people in our district here. The first one we have is our amazing superintendent, Dr. Tammy Pate. We have Paula Lecoq from FACE, who is just amazing, a storehouse of knowledge and an amazing team player with us here. We have who is in our group tonight. We have Sonia Rueda, we have Dr. Kong. We have all these amazing people. We have the President's Council here, all here to take and to listen to your feedback. And more importantly, we have our council, our CEC28 council members, who are the arm and the legs and the feet and the foot soldiers, right, in the community, who have always went to express their concerns. And believe me, to all the parents in our community tonight, all our council members do bring your concerns to us, every one of them. When you tell them, hey, I'm experiencing this issue is concerned, the council members of D28, they are all in this 100%, where they're all of them are here advocating for their communities, their schools, and all children in our district. I want to say lastly, before I hand it over, that meeting, as I always say to you all, we will make this platform and our meetings a great event where we can all be respectful. We can have a great meeting, or we can make it a fiasco. And tomorrow we could be in Wall Street Journal saying like, you know, D28 meeting was crazy and Broadway stars and the whole nine. The choice is yours. So we asked a couple of things we want to say. Mute your microphones, have your videos on. If you want to speak, put the word speak and then your name next to it. We have the amazing Elena and Aminova and Crystal Weiss will be tracking on the chat to see who put their names to speak. When we say to speak, we have a public comment section. That means you are welcome to express how you feel about something, a concern. Here is not to solve it all. Here's not the place where we're going to give you guidance and say, here's the answer to all your questions. Dr. Pate will take notes. We have all the other able bodies will take notes and they will get back and handle your questions appropriately for that section. Also, my dear friends, this is a safe space where our district is a very broad in terms of the demographic, ethnicity, racial makeup, all of that, economic statuses, socioeconomic statuses, etc. I am asking all of you, like we've always done, to be respectful in your intonation, in your chatting on the side. Now, everything that is on the side here, that is the chat that's going on, it's recorded, right? That's not the meeting. The meeting is happening here in the camera that we were talking. The side chat, if that becomes a separate meeting, we are not answering questions from the chat. That is a place that we leave, and we will prefer to leave it for the district office. Any one of us who want to share information to the whole group will be listed over there, or numbers or email addresses, etc. We also ask all the principals who are on board tonight, we want to welcome you. If you can please put the word principal, your school, and then your name after, we'll be so happy. We would love to acknowledge you that you're on today. So I'm just going to go through a quick list here and see if I see principals that's in here. Dr. Pei, do you see any of the principals that's here?
Let me take a look.
I see Principal Manjares, Rena Manjares.
Okay, Rena Manjares, can you please just unmute yourself and just say hi really quickly, Rena? Ms. Kong, you can actually call them out one by one, yeah? Just a quick hi, hello to the community, please. Go for it.
I want to say good evening.
We can't hear you, Rena.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. I want to say good evening to everyone. My camera's frozen, so I'm like staring into like a picture. I'm not sure what happened, but I just want to say good evening. It's good to be here, and I'm glad that we have this forum to get together and to talk. And I just hope that everyone is doing well, and really appreciate having this time together.
Thank you.
We have Principal Hicks, Tiffany Hicks.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for, allowing us to have this space, and I love to be a part of the meetings. I encourage my community to come out to the meetings to let them know that their voice counts, and if they don't speak up, then we won't get answers. So thank you.
And your voice counts. We're happy that you're here too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I see our principal who is right now on moving into her retirement is Miss Paulette Foglio from PS9.
Hi, everyone. I saw the opportunity to get to meet you. This is a great forum to be able to do that. I love, this is my first time at one of these meetings with you. As you know, I've been at 99 for 18 years, and I'm on a leave right now, going into retirement. But because my passion and my heart is in education, I was curious to join you this evening, meet the new superintendent, and wish her lots of good luck. I never had the opportunity. Everything went crazy.
Exactly.
As soon as I retired. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You have a wonderful school, I tell you. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
You are leaving a great legacy.
Right. I'm not sure if anybody called in because I don't see any more on.
We have PS206. Is that the principal, or that's any other principals on our chat tonight? Okay, so and in the meantime, we'll just continue the meeting. If there are any principals who are here, or if you see any principals that are joining in, we can ask the principals to please just put principal next to your name and then your name after, so we can call you and just have you say hi to our community. Because after all, we want to say thank you for the great work that you do. At this time, my dear friends, we have the honor of listening to our district superintendent, the Honorable Dr. Pate, please.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So it's a pleasure being with you all. It's always, every CEC is the day the universe decides that we're going to be fully deployed the entire day, so that when we land here at CEC in the evening, it's like, it's a good way to end the day, right? It's a really good way, because at the beginning of the day, it's about children. And CEC really illustrates that at the end of the day, it's also about children. So it's a pleasure to meet with you. I have a lot of information that I took a lot of notes, and so I am going to just try to give you some of the updates that we are going around this week, and some of the other items of interest. And then I have some friends here with me that I will introduce as we go forward through the notes. But I'm going to try to get through a chunk of them and try to be very timely. So I need you all to nudge me if you hear that I'm speaking more than 10 or 15 minutes. All righty. So I'm going to go through really quickly. Thank you, sir. So we always, again, we have to start at children, right? And so it's important that I share what is our district engagement or interaction data. It is improving by leaps and bounds. I can tell you that our quiet superheroes at the district office are Rosa Fenton and Sonia Rueda, who have been together making sure that every single thing possible is done to do outreach to our families and to ensure our children are making connection and teachers are making connection with children on a daily basis. So as of this week, our interaction data is the following. So we have 99% of our schools, well, 100% of our schools have daily interactions. That daily interaction percent, that's what percent of our total children are on a daily basis, is 86%. So some days are, maybe Fridays are not as well attended as Tuesdays, and so we get an average of 86%. We are working to get that average up by helping our principals first, and then teachers and other staff to innovate with technology. We're in the middle of a full district-wide, a month-long technology push to explore different apps, to engage students, to be partners in learning. So 86 is not enough. It is way up from where we started, and so we're really happy about the progress the district is making. I'm happy to also share with you, last time we were together, we had nearly 60 families that we had not been able to locate. That was a really big number. We are down to 37, and we just had that meeting 2 weeks ago. So I am telling you, our district superheroes are working. These are families that could not be reached through normal ways, and so they have been touching everybody in this Department of Education to help us locate our families, get them the technology that they need, and make sure that they are connected in a classroom to a teacher. So I give shout outs to the district team for the work they are doing. It has been truly phenomenal. Again, we have 99% of our schools are over 75% daily interactions. The bigger number is that more of our schools are at the 90+ level than not. And so the principals are also doing just a great work, in my opinion, of encouraging teachers to try and to innovate, to push forward, to think about how you engage children. How do you get them excited about learning? How do you get them to be brave and jump on? Or how do we get parents to find the time? Because we also understand that our parents, we are all parents. We're sitting at home and we're working and we're teaching our children. And that's a lot. And not all of us have the luxury of saying, hey boss, I'm gonna finish all of this reports at 12 midnight. Right? We don't have that luxury. I don't know any of us, we don't. So that means we have to really think about that. total, I'm talking a lot, I'm sorry. So our total devices data, total devices that have been shipped, there's 9,357, delivered 8,010. I'm sorry, that have ordered is 9,357, delivered 8,010, shipped, those are ones that are on their way, is 245, and there are 60 on hold because either they changed addresses or they canceled the order. We're trying to resolve that. So I think that we're doing really good in terms of our interactions and our participation and attendance data. The Chancellor released parent-teacher conference data. And so the highlights is that, it's an important way. We know that parent-teacher conferences is a really important tool that we use to make sure that everybody is on the same page. The worst thing you want is to get in the middle of the year. I'm sorry, someone is messaging and I have talking really quickly and my notes are blocking. Am I speaking too fast? Interrupt me if you
You're
need
fine.
to.
You're fine. It's just
Okay.
like it's going in and out a little bit, the microphone.
Sorry, it was kind of low, it was at 20. So it's really high now, hopefully that's better. And we know the importance of parent-teacher conferences. So what we have done in the spirit of ensuring that there's flexibility and that this works for everyone, teachers are working and principals are working to create a flexible schedule that has, times and dates that are convenient for both teachers and families. They have been asked to and really required to keep a log of their outreach so that no one gets missed, right? I think I spoke to Tammy's mom, but I'm not sure. No, we need to know that we've been effective in our outreach to our families. And so everyone will be scheduled who desire to have one-to-one. I do understand that many parents are having those conversations every single day, so they may not want to schedule an additional one. That is their choice. But the Chancellor is asking, and I am therefore asking, that these conferences happen before May 22nd. So by May 22nd, every parent who would like to have a conference, a great conference, will have the opportunity to have one at a time that is mutually convenient. In other words, I'm working at 9 o'clock, I'm in a team meeting every day. That's not a good time for me. And so we are asking and really requiring that everyone be flexible around that and schedule meetings. I'm going to jump to OSYD, the Office of Student and Youth Development. And Paula, I know you're here and can talk a lot about this, and I'm gonna bat it over to you in a minute. But OSYD, wellness initiatives and programs. And I got to tell you all that the executive director of the Office of Student and Youth Development spoke with us on yesterday, and then he was a guest speaker today. And why am I talking to you about this? Because this is what we have been saying to each other from the very beginning, that we are doing a lot of technical things in the Department of Education. And he gave an analogy that was just spot on today. He said to us, we'll be pouring 100% of education into a cup that can only hold 10%, because we have to address the social-emotional wellness of our children, of our staff, of our families. And so they have created quite a few programs, and they have a 3-tiered plan that includes trauma professional development for school leaders, for teachers, for support, for students, and for families. So they're doing outreach to do sessions about understanding, identifying, your feelings and getting in touch with that, and dealing with grief and dealing with anxiety and dealing with fear. And if anyone on this call say, oh, I don't have those, I will use a term from my childhood: liar, liar, pants on fire. Why? Because we are all dealing with this pandemic, and it's terrible. And it's terrible. And every day that we either look at CNN or every day we have to experience another death, that's a lot, right? It's a lot. So I am really happy about what they are doing. So they have a 3-part series, trauma and professional learning series. They have a school and staff social emotional learning, and then they have outreach to students and with the collaboration with the Office of Community Schools. So they're going to be offering quite a few supports. They're online sessions. They're very, very confidential, kind of in some cases, they're one-to-one if you need just a little, someone to talk to. And there is absolutely no shame in my game. So that for me feels like a big ol' win. They did outline a little bit of a diagram about how they're going to provide support. I also saw that he talked about how they're going to try to minimize so many people talking to families and have one point of contact that they are already familiar with that will be able to get those resources to them. So I know factually that we're going to have Sonia and Rosa be key partners in that work, as well as our parent coordinators, as well as our CEC. Critically important. I'm going to actually try to get someone in front of you all the next month, I hope, as well as our President's Council and our parent boards. And so we're going to get the information out as soon as we get it, you will get it. And we are asking everyone to encourage folks to take advantage of it, including ourselves, right? Including ourselves. I'm going to take my mask and put it on first so I can help someone else. So thank you for that. We're going to dig into a bit of grading policy, and I'm going to tell you why. We are fortunate enough to have Judy Villanove here. She is the Director of Policy and Engagement. We all have seen grading policy. I can go over it really quickly in terms of what each grade band, what grading possibilities there are for each grade band. Jay, do you think that's important, or have we all sort of covered it already? I don't know. So I can certainly come back with each of the designations from grade to grade, but we do have a partner here who is prepared and deeply qualified to discuss and then perhaps address any concerns that may come up throughout the meeting. But we do want to talk about grading policy. We have quite a few of our principals who have sent some concerns and some questions all the way up the flagpole to the chancellor. And we have policy looking at some of those very special and particular cases. The Department of Education, however, is holding hard and fast with regard to the grade band grading policies. And so those policies in a nutshell is K to 5 is meeting and needs improvement. That's the MT or the N. 6 to 8 is meeting, needs improvement, or NX, which is course in progress. And then high school 9 to 12, and that's a really distinct place because we have some 6 to 12s. So in that one school, they will have two policies, right? 6 to 8 and the 9 to 12. High school is the grading scale is as it is current. They can choose that. Then for final grades, there is a choice that parents will get to make after a final grades are issued, where you can go back and just request CR for credit or keep the numeric average as it is. And so again, I have our own expert from the chief academic from our chief academic office here to speak to us and go more in depth into grading policy. I know it's a hot topic, and we want you to know that, as always, we're trying to get folk and the ones who are making decisions in front of you. I don't know what other people do, but in this district, we try to bring it to the mountain or bring the mountain to us. And so I'm really thankful that she is able to join us. And then if there are any other concerns, we can address them. I know that there's a question about the rec centers and what is happening there. And we have great reports out of those centers. They have frequently been mentioned in articles about the work that they are doing, and our rec center supervisors who are doing just great work. One of our officers of access was actually filming from one of the rec centers, and children were really talking about their experiences. And so our children are in good hands, and I'm very thankful. Robert is doing a great job. David actually are doing a great job, and I'm proud of the work we're doing in District 28. So that's it. Way more than 15 minutes. And so, Mr. President, if we could allow Judy, I don't know when you want to call her up, but I would love for her to be able to address.
Yes, I would like to call her now. So we are very happy to have Judy Villanueva. Is that correct? Am I saying?
It's Judy Villeneuve.
Judy Villeneuve.
Yes.
And she's the director of policy and engagement, office of the chief academic officer. So we'll ask you to just give us information.
Yes, of course.
Any questions at this time? It will give you like maybe 5 to 7 minutes. That'll be great. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. So it's a pleasure to be among the participants here. I want to thank you, CEC President Vijay Rachajan, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
That works.
Okay, that works. And to be here with Dr. Pate and all of your CEC members. I am first going to say, I want to extend my condolences to any one of you who have lost someone during this crisis. I hope that all of you and your families are well and safe. It's a pleasure to be able to be here and to speak to you about the policy. I was actually myself hired back in March, but I am one of the casualties of COVID. I ended up working 3 days before being sick for 3 weeks, so I'm just back in the throes of doing this work. I am really pleased as far as the makeup of your community. I'm myself, first generation American, Caribbean, also somebody who knows the routine of, where's your book? Have you read it today? kind of thing. My daughter was in a G&T program. I'm very familiar with all the hard work we put into making sure and ensuring that our children are going to be successful. So that being said, I'm at the end stages of this process where obviously the grading policy is already finalized, and we're moving into discussions around enrollment, which fundamentally really is the question that everybody's having. In regards to, exploring the ideas around, now that we have this policy, how can I preserve the success and all of the hard work and all of the grades that have got, and all of, as you had said, CEC President, all of the money that you've actually put into these training programs in order to ensure that your child has that academic advantage. So, the crisis wasn't anything that any of us had expected. We have a very, very diverse community of parents, all of whom weighed in on what the policy should and how it should represent. It was very polarized. As far as just giving you a context of how we came to the terms that we finally did come to. We had a whole camp of parents that didn't want any grades at all. They wanted all A's. And then you had the other camp of, let's keep the current grading policy. That's the only way for our kids to be able to keep the academic advantage that we've been trying to ensure that they have. Well, it turns out that since we represent the entire school community, that means every camp and perspective, it's critical that we come up with some level of compromise in order to be able to at least give everybody a piece of the pie, as they say, right? What are we going to do? Having no grades at all, that's not going to work for the people that want to keep the status quo. And it's not equitable in either situation. So what we've done in this policy was leverage our leadership in the field, our strong executive superintendents, principals, and teachers by creating a policy that allows for, as Dr. Pate said earlier, that the grades that have been accumulated during the marking periods are the ones that will be represented on the report card. So I want to repeat that. The existing grading policy of every school applies to all of the grades during the marking period. It's important to distinguish the fact that the nomenclature, the meeting standards and needs improvement only applies to the final grade. So let's say, I'll give you an example. If you have 3 marking periods and that child scored a 96, 94, 90, those are the marking period grades, then that child would get for a final grade, that's the average of the 3, the equivalent would be MT. But that would still be based on the grading mechanism used at that school. So in other words, in the notes, whatever way of representation that they, that they document these grades, it'll say MT at my school is the equivalent of anywhere between 100 and, let's say, 87. So it's not that the grades are lost. There are other ways, and I know we have other educators on the phone. Since we have such a diverse school community, each principal in a flexible policy like this is allowed to exercise their professional authority and understanding of their students and their school community to apply their existing policy and its equivalent to that nomenclature, right? To that term or that general qualification. That way, then we're able to preserve all of the grades that that child has accumulated. But we're also able to identify where students need additional support, because not everybody scored that high. Even if they did score high in their original marking periods, let's say they didn't get the technology that they needed in time to be able to fully benefit and participate in online learning. Our goal as the DOE system is to ensure that every child is ready for moving forward to the next school year, fully equipped to be able to manage that work. So right now we're working on a lot of things. We're working on developing a summer plan for school, students, not just the students that would have been mandated, but students that need a little more assistance in order to get them to where they need so that they can get the MT. Because if, let's say, they received a needs improvement, what it means is there is an academic gap there that needs to be filled, that could be filled in a number of ways. And that decision is made on the school-based level, and they would identify whether or not there's a project that would be able to, that child could do, you know, over the summer that would ensure that, you know, they believe that they've met all of the needs that academically to be able to confidently have them move to the next stage of that process. That is not failing, that's just needing improvement, needing additional support. Though there are no failing grades. In the case of a child that needs course in progress, then they need more help. They would be mandated to getting some summer assistance, but that summer assistance is going to look very different than it's ever looked in the past. That's going to include the social emotional support that Dr. Pate was speaking to, because we cannot isolate the fact that this crisis exists. We have to try to meet the needs of all of our students and find them wherever they are. And if those of you who may already know, Dr. Pate may have already shared, that we have major budget cuts as well that are also part of this this situation that we have to deal with. And still, nevertheless, we have to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our kids. So just to transition into where we are now and to give you an idea of how policy not only impacts us, but how it works with other policy decisions that are made within the central office of the Department of Education. I've gotten questions such as, well, why did the policy have to go out so quickly? Why weren't we engaged more in depth? Well, we have a lot of very hardworking principals and teachers out there who needed guidance. There were different decisions being made around grading that was extremely inequitable as far as it goes across the city. So we had to come up with a general guidance that would bring unity to the decision making as far as general guidelines, and then give the schools their professional authority to be able to adopt those policies that they already had pre-existing at their school to this new guidance. And we had to do that quickly because a lot of grading periods had started to come up. Depending on the schools that a student attended, there were grading periods that were coming up that week. So that's why that decision had to happen at that point in the game. But we also need to know that a decision about admissions can't happen until a grading policy is established, because admissions or the enrollment office has to look at what it is that is available to be able to, what criteria is what I'm saying, grading criteria is available in order to be able to make an admissions decision. Now we know that attendance is no longer available as an option. We know that state exams aren't available as an option. That wasn't a city decision, that was a state decision. So based on the creative ways in which our schools are applying this policy and the information that's available, the holistic information, not just the grades that have become part of the record, right? But also what notes, what information, what progress that is being identified in other ways by the teachers can be looked at in order to be able to make a decision about what criteria is going to be used for enrollment. Now, enrollment couldn't begin this process until the decision about the grade policy had been finalized. So right now they're in the process of working very hard to make those decisions, to identify what is the best criteria in order to ensure that students who in fact worked very hard, that their grades are honored. But also not to penalize anyone for not having technology, not being able to connect, losing family members, having to deal with those circumstances. It's a very hard decision, and they are used to these kinds of decisions, although this is the first of its kind. But what I would recommend your community to do is, this is at the stage of the game where they're still making decisions. They're still trying to get information from the community along the lines of what will be the best kind of enrollment, let's say, protocols and decisions. What is the information that you can contribute to help have this discussion, right, that they can take into consideration? So that's something that I would definitely strongly encourage you to do. We've been receiving all kinds of information from different community groups. We've received extensive surveys about what should be considered based on, again, the limitations of what we have available to us, right? So we can participate and we can work together in order to move this forward, and the conversations away from grading policy, but now the conversation should really be about, well, what does that criteria look like as far as enrollment?
Right. And we spoke with enrollment. If we're going to be a part of this meeting tonight, they are in the middle of trying to resolve guidance for this. And so I'm holding them to participating on next month. That is fine with you, BJ, so they can explain the policy, which should be in place by that time, and also answer questions or respond to.
Most definitely. We can discuss it. They can do a little presentation. That'll be great. Thank you. Thank you, Judy, and thank you, Dr. Pate. I really appreciate your time here.
I was here as well.
At this point, my dear friends, I just want to acknowledge we have Kate Mooney. She's a Deputy Chief of Staff for Councilwoman Adrian Adams' office. Kate, please unmute your microphone, please, and let's say you have 1 minute, please, just to bring greetings.
Yes, hi, good evening. I'm delighted to join you again. There is so much going through our minds right now regarding education. Dr. Pate, it's delightful to meet you.
So good to see you again, yes.
I hope you received my email earlier.
Oh, yes, I did. We've been meeting back to back to back, and that's really good news that I hope to be able to share with everyone by next meeting. So
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah. Councilmember Adams is fighting for the schools on every single level at the City Council. The big budget decisions are coming. She begins her negotiating meetings next Monday. And the state cuts are really brutal. And of course, as Dr. Pate and so many of you are mentioning, the social and emotional wellness component is also a major concern for the students, for the families, for all New Yorkers, let's face it. So those are certainly two big concerns for the budget, but needless to say, I'm very happy that the technology seems to have worked its out, all the little kinks there. But now we're noticing food insecurity for the students and the families, and that's another level of grave concern. So we're working in the community, trying to provide food in various different ways. We want to let you know we're here for you. You can call our office. Every call gets routed to one of our staff members. I am the budget director and deputy chief of staff, but we are a staff of 8, and we're happy to take any kind of questions, assist you in any of your needs. And so that's my brief remarks. Thank you, BJ, and thank you, Principal Hicks and Principal of PS50 for being here.
Rena, yes, I was going to mention that they are, this brave ambassador, they are opening again food distribution at PS50. So that is going to be amazing.
Kate, if you don't mind, can you just please put a number for the councilman's office that people can call in?
Surely.
Or any information, etc. That'd be great if you guys put that number in the chat. That'd be wonderful. Thank you so much. At this time, my dear friends. Yes, Dr.
We have Principal Hashberry signal in this meeting too.
Yes, so if we have time at the end, we can come back at the end. So we just want to keep it up the agenda going. But thank you so much, right? So at this point, we have Paula DeCock from FACE. And I would like Paula, if you would like to add anything, you have 2 minutes, please, Paula DeCock.
No, I'm okay. I don't have any updates because the main update was the grading policy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. But thank you for all the wonderful, wonderful work that you do with us. You know, we feel the love and the support from FACE, especially through your lens, through your hands. And we have not felt short of any type of support when it comes to Paul Lecoq. And thank you. Just thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Being you.
Thank you.
As always, my dear friends, we're going to go through our CEC members. And we're going to ask them if they have anything to report. We do have one of our members today who will be giving a brief 5 to 7 minutes report on school safety, on safety and Zoom. But we'll come back. We'll come back to that, okay? But I'm going to go back in terms of anything to report. So I'm going to start with Ted Chang. Do you have anything to report?
Just briefly, just a couple of anecdotes. On Facebook, I noticed that there was a parent in Jamaica requesting information about food, and it turned out that this parent had been going to the Salvation Army and had not, and they were running out of food, even though the person had been in line for like, a while. And then I directed them to some of the DOE food sites, and they indicated that there were long lines at some of these sites. So I guess, just because that person's probably not on this call, if there's any sort of indication of like, where people can get food without, having to wait for 2 hours in line, that would probably help a lot of the members of the community.
Okay, thank you, Ted. Barbara, do you have anything to report? We can't hear you, Barbara.
Sorry, VJ, I had to unmute myself. No, I don't have anything to say at this time.
Okay, well, we're happy to hear your voice. Thank you so much. We're happy you're here too. Look.
BJ, did you call me?
Yes, I called Howard Pollock.
Sorry, it cut out.
That's okay.
There will be an update on the diversity plan. Not sure what it's going to be like, but we do have an update call tomorrow just for diversity team members. In the near future, probably our next CEC meeting, I'll be able to report.
Yes.
I'm also very happy to hear that more and more schools are giving out grab-and-go meals. And I see that Heather just posted the DOE site. She beat me to it. Please look at the chat. You'll get a sense of where the DOE is having the grab-and-go meals, both for food that everyone can eat, for kosher food, and for halal food. Very important. Some people, for religious reasons, need to eat this type of food. No one should go hungry for religious beliefs. We're very pleased the DOE has listened to the community and council members like Adrian Adams and Karen Koslowitz, who have pushed for this type of food distribution at the schools. Additionally, I'm very pleased to see Dr. Pate. She's a wonderful administrator, and we're very lucky to have her and her team.
Thank you so much, Howard. Robert Tamayev?
No, at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Micah, do you have anything to report? I'll come back to you about the presentation, but do you have anything to report, Micah?
Only the Zoom issue, VJ, and that'll be brief.
Thank you. So, Elena?
Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is well. The one thing that I want to point out is that everybody, the kids and the parents, should fill out the remote learning survey. I want to do a shout out for that. And I know that it was put in the comments as well that the Forest Hills High School is offering kosher meals. That is something great, especially for the Jewish community that I know is highly present in District 28. So definitely take advantage of that. As the weather is getting warmer, I want to make sure that everybody is still taking care of safety precautions with their kids. And, let's not have the wave 2 of it and make sure to be safe. I just wanted to put it out there.
Thank you.
Thank you
all. Erica?
Hi, yes. At this time, I don't have anything and any questions. Thank everybody for their support through everything.
For being here. We're happy to hear your voice too. I know Andy Andy made us king, guys. Oh, he's one of our CC members. He is one of those personal trainers and community trainers for kids in our district and our community. As you probably have seen before, he's on the fields right now. So, Andy, if you are hearing me, can you unmute yourself at this point? Okay, so we'll come back to Andy later on if he has any questions. At this time, we'll turn it over to Micah Morrison, and he has a brief presentation. Micah?
Thank you, Vijay, and it's nice to see everybody. Before the pandemic hit, the CEC, I'll be very brief, this will just take a minute or two. Before the pandemic hit, the CEC had been approached by a lot of parents and community members concerned about issues of school safety, issues of bullying, violence in schools, and nationwide, a different sort of pandemic, the pandemic of school shootings. And we formed a school safety committee in April, a CEC school safety committee of myself, Erica Cooper, Barbara Williams, and Vijay. And immediately, the issue of Zoom came up as the pandemic hit, and there was issues of internet security, computer security. So we were sort of tasked with that, and everybody had been using this Zoom technology, and DOE suddenly issued an order saying, no Zoom. And at that point, Vijay and the committee asked me to just sort of take a look at that. So I started looking at that. I talked to DOE, I talked to Zoom. There were issues of encryption. There were issues of so-called Zoom bombing, naughty words appearing in the screen, and there were issues of privacy. Both DOE and Zoom assured me that they were working hard on it and they would get an answer. And I was very skeptical about that. But indeed, yesterday, as many of you know, Zoom and DOE announced that we can use the technology again, that it has been approved and they are moving forward very quickly. They've taken a number of steps to beef up security and privacy, including better data encryption, more control over who can enter the meetings, more hosting controls, and more privacy features. So Zoom has been a very convenient remote technology, and I think many of us are pleased to have it back, and we'll probably be discussing it in a remote learning context in the future. But that's it. Zoom was out, now it's back. I really want to commend DOE. You know, a bureaucracy does not generally move fast. They move very fast and turned it around. I think that's a good sign for the future and other issues as well. That's it.
Thank you, Mike. And I want to say last time I publicly said that when we had a situation where we had more than 100 people trying to join our meeting the last special meeting on April 27th, and they could not join, without any shame, I said very clearly to all of you who was on here, shame on DOE, that they could not provide a very workable platform for our district, for our community to really meet and greet and talk and exchange information. I think they are working on that. I think they have listened to what we had to say, because I think the embarrassment is real. So that's why this time around we have no issues in terms of allowing people to join the meeting. I'm happy to have that happen, and we should not have these issues going forward. So please, we apologize the last meeting, but it was not our fault. We're just doing the best we can do. But we will definitely keep DOE accountable. And as a community, I want to commend all of you for really doing your part and voicing your concerns. To all of our essential workers who are parents also, we want to thank you. I want to say a special shout out to our teachers, to all of our teachers, because our teachers, many of them are parents too. Many of them are also schooling their children, and we want to acknowledge them and say to them, thank you for being wonderful teachers to our children and to your own children too. We can't expect them to be teaching school from 8 to 2 p.m. and also where they're going to put their kids, right? That's a thing we have to discuss and talk about, live lectures and all this stuff happening. But I think we have to have our thinking and understanding cap at this time, because we're all in this together. Teachers are not exempted from this process that they're facing. They are also figuring out their lives and their times. So to all the teachers who are on board here, there's many of you tonight, I want to thank all of you. CEC28 say thank you for your hard work and for doing a great job that you're doing so far, and we look forward to more work together. Next, we have the privilege of having the District 28's President's Council. We have the amazing Shirley Aubin, and we have the fantastic Jessica Zillo, who will be presenting for a few minutes for us. I'll turn it over to both of them, please. Go for it.
Hello, good evening. Can you allow me to share my screen, please?
Yes. You guys have like 5 to 7 minutes, yeah?
Yep.
While Shirley is getting the presentation up, I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Jessica Zillo. I have one daughter at PS220. I'm also a PA president, along with the CPAC recording secretary. I am in a ton of meetings and getting a lot of information. But me and Shirley are here to help all the parents. I'm actually going to let Shirley speak because we have found that it works better if one person does the presentation. And so once she gets it up, she will actually go ahead and present. And I'm going to let her introduce herself as well.
I'm still not allowed to share my screen.
Okay.
Elena, are you enabling it?
She's taking care of that. Thanks.
Can you try again, please?
It's
working.
Yeah, I'm going to start this. Hello, good evening, everyone. I bring greetings from District 28 members, also from the co-presidents, myself, Shirley Aubin, and Jessica Zillo. You heard from her just now. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to just briefly talk about a few topics. Remote learning, how are we doing? How are we working? Most of us are working on Google Classroom, some on Class Dojo. During this remote learning environment, we have raised a lot of concerns came out of this. First is the grading policy. The new standard of grading policy for remote learning environment has now been defined. The DOE wanted to create a policy that was flexible, fair, and equitable to all New York students and had consulted their stakeholders, parents, teachers, administrators. The grading policy affects the final grade for the school semester, and the marking period grades will still be according to the current grading system. The policy has been created and put in effect, but the DOE states that they will still have public engagement on this matter. The admission policies. Has not been formalized yet, and the DOE is still working on it. But they will have public engagement forums for all stakeholders. We know that attendance and the state exam and the SHSATs will not be part of next year's admission policy. Special education. All students with special needs and IEPs should be able to access their individual education plan and services remotely. Keep in mind, certain services like speech therapy, parents must give consent to have those services used remotely. Please, if you have questions or concerns with your child's IEP, please consult with your child's teacher or guidance counselor first. Resources and information can be found at the special education at schoolsnyc.gov. Resources and support. 2 places that you can get all the information you need. For DOE, schools at nyc.gov, and for a broader span, nyc.gov. If you have rent, food pantries, etc., those are the 2. They will direct you to the right place. U.S. Census, we are facing budget cuts. We know the next 2 school years, they're going to be cut. It's important more than ever that we fill out the census. The census directly affects funding for the next 10 years. Some things that are affected, Title I, breakfast and lunch school programs, Head Start, unemployment, Medicare, Medicaid, high school, hospitals, supermarkets, commercial seats, both federal and state, election districts. We have to June 30th. We as a state only have
Hey, Shirley?
Yes.
So your microphone is going in and out. It's breaking up very badly. So.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Thank you.
Do you need me to start again?
Just start over back for the last 2 sentences.
Okay, let's go back. Some things are affected, like Title I funding, breakfast and lunch, food programs, Head Start, unemployment, Medicare, Medicaid, highways, hospitals, schools, supermarkets, congressional seats, both federal and state, election districts. All these are affected by the census. We have the census for 10 years. Whatever funding, that's what we're going to have for the next 10 years. So it's very important to get everybody to fill out the census. And if you haven't done so, do so. We got till June 30th. Once June 30th, once July 1st comes, that's it. The census is over. New York City Parent and Community Involvement Flow Chart. The topics I mentioned earlier should be happening at the DLT level and the SOTs and PTAs across the district. Each level of DOE has a support person. On the school level is the parent coordinator. District level, we have our family leadership coordinator, Sonia Vereda. On the city level, we have FACE. Information flows in both directions. It's like a tree. Water flows upwards from the roots, sunlight comes downwards. School levels are the root, district is the trunk, and the tree boughs and the branches, which is the sea level. The end product, the leaves, flowers, what the tree produces is the result of our
Pick it up again.
Is the result of our teamwork. At the school level, we want to remind that we have support. We have the teacher, we have the counselor, social worker.
Picking up again.
That again?
Yeah, can you start over with that slide, please?
All right. At the school level, we have support. Like a tree, the teachers and staff are the roots. The parent coordinators and the PA and PTA are the trunk. Administration are the boughs and branches. So we have the teachers, parent coordinator, assistant principal, and principal. The school should act like one team, and you go up the chain. I understand there's certain situations, sometimes you skip everybody and go to the principal, but this is the general format. District 28, our voice counts. We need to learn to help help our community to continue to be involved. We are already involved and engaged. We are here to be empowered because knowledge is power. Communities has a direct impact on the schools that resides within its borders. We need to help others to participate, be involved, and engaged, and empowered. DOE parents are concerned with their children and community, but parents also have to keep in mind that DOE have children and family of their own. Everybody is impacted by COVID-19. It's numbers, and we have a lot of issues and addresses we have to address. No one is not about me or you or one particular individual. It's about District 28. And it's also the primary goal is about children receive quality, rigorous, and accurate education, especially not maintaining the high quality we set ourselves to do. We need to hold each other up to accomplish these tasks we have set.
I sent you two so far.
Say that again?
Go ahead. It's breaking up a little bit more too, so go ahead. Maybe stay close to your microphone.
Yeah. We've got your back, not only us, District 28, parent leaders, the President's Council, Superintendent Tate Pate, Deputy Superintendent Sue Kong, the Family Leadership Coordinator, Sonia Rada, our FACE Liaison, Bibi Manatin, our parent leaders for the wonderful collaboration and teamwork in disseminating information during these unusual times. We'd like to thank District 27, 29, and Queens High School President's Council. We have established a Queens South Intra-District President Council Working Group. And of course, our host, District 28 CEC. Thank you for having us. All the topics that we have discussed, I've discussed briefly, will be mentioned in our next President's Council meeting on Thursday, May 28th, commencing at 6:30 p.m. Our collaborators, Deputy Inspector, Family Leadership Coordinator, FACE, CC, will be there. Will you be there? Just keep in mind that we have established a social and emotional. Next week, Thursday, we're going to have bi-weekly chats with District 28 President's Council, starting next Thursday. And I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Shirley. We want to thank you and Jessica for being here. There you go. Jessica?
I just, in the chat, I saw actually quite a few questions in regards to elections. That has been taken to the Chancellor, and it's
Jessica, we're not answering questions at this time. We haven't reached that part of the program as yet. So do you have anything to add from your presentation?
No.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, my dear friends, so this time we will start in order of the questions. So of those who actually put their name to speak on the section, so we can be very fair to everyone who actually did put their name down. So the first person I have here is, let me just go back to the chat. Crystal, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes.
And can you call the first name?
Dina Lemkova.
So this is a comment section. So please, if you have a comment to make, just make a comment, and then we can move to the next person or a statement. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. First of all, thank you for having this meeting, and thank you for making it big enough for all of us to fit into one small screen. I'm a parent at PS 144. My son is in the 4th grade. The first thing I want to say is a very positive thing. I see a lot of parents commenting that the teachers are not having live lessons. We are extremely fortunate at PS 144, and we have not had that experience. Our kids are getting a lot of live lessons, and I really hope everybody else will catch up as well, even though it's already May, but I really hope everybody else can catch up. I have 2 concerns or comments.
Yes, please.
So the first one was the diversity plan was mentioned, that next month there will be more news. Is the plan coming out, or is it more workshops that are going to be coming out? I guess that's my #1 concern or question. And my second concern, it has been since this whole thing began, is I understand the grading policy, and I understand that there's no more state tests and whatever. Well, I want to understand how I can ensure that my child is meeting standards for next year, when hopefully we go back to face-to-face teaching or face-to-face education. And I haven't received any answers other than, as long as they're doing the work, they're fine. But is there a resource for us parents to maybe at the end of the year, closer to the end of the year, to understand if our kids are ready to move on to the next grade?
Okay, thank you so much. Howard, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, just for clarification purposes, Dina, I will have more information about the diversity plan, which is totally on hold, for our next CEC meeting.
Thank you.
Howard. Dr. Pate, anything to add? You're muted.
I don't mind that state. So without answering questions, what we are, what is a part of the grading policy, is a requirement that there are. I'm sorry.
Into S iPad. Can you please mute yourself, please? Elena, can you please mute that person?
So students, teachers are being asked, and principals will ensure that you are getting standard specific feedback for your child. as part of the report card and progress monitoring. So whatever structures are currently in place, like Class Dojo and things of that nature, as well as their report cards, we're really pushing to have not necessarily a narrative, but really to give you standard data about how your child is performing on whatever grade standard. So fourth grade learning standards, you will get that information as part of the parent-teacher conference and the recording. And
Thank you, Dr. Payne.
That are also going to be uploaded to New York schools. I'm sorry, what is the site? New York schools, so that you can access that. So if you don't have an account, please create one. That's where your data will be delivered.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can we have the next person, Crystal?
Heather Beers.
Hi, good evening. I have a few questions.
Heather, you're breaking up a lot.
Good evening. The first is in regards to remote learning survey.
Heather, check your
I had some
connection.
questions tonight regarding the, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. It's sounding better now.
Okay. I wanted to ask first about the remote learning survey and how that was supposed to be conveyed to families. I just wanted it yesterday, and I noticed that the flyer says it is due May 1. So I guess my first question is, has it been extended? And if so, what was the plan to have it distributed? Because parents in my school have not had one single communication about this. I did a due diligence and went through parent coordinator communications, went through newsletters, and nothing had been sent. And so I'm wondering first about that. I also have concern tonight about how IEP students that are in ICT classes are to be interacting with their special ed subjects. I'm speaking specifically about middle schools and how they are working with those teachers.
Heather, we'll call Heather.
Sidebar
Hello, Heather.
conversation.
Heather.
You know, the helping class is really a challenge. Yes. Hi.
Okay, so we're having a very bad connection with you. We're not hearing your question clearly. So we'll call.
Can you hear me now?
No, it's really delayed. And it's not coming out clearly, so no one can hear your question. So I don't know if you want to try reconnecting back, and when you come back on, we'll call you back on your name on the list, okay? So Crystal, can you call the next person, please?
That's all I have for now.
Okay. Heather, are you still there? Are you back? Heather? Okay, so Jessica Zilo?
Yes.
Okay, can you please answer the question now that you wanted to answer?
So there, in regards to what has been given to the chancellor in regards to elections, the elections are PAs and PTs will have the ability, if needed, to wait until October 31st as the deadline for elections. It will no longer be June 30th. So there will be some allowance in regards to when elections are being held. The voting, which was another item, is still being looked at, and the financials stuff that we've been sort of reviewing, I believe is going to be sent either today or tomorrow. So it's a little bit of a slow go, but we are making some recommendations to the chancellor. But obviously when he gets it, it also has to work its way through legal and other ways. So elections are soon to come. Anybody that has outgoing members and you don't have a president, a secretary, and a treasurer, we will work with probably the district leadership team, and then we will help those schools that may need to still maintain a PA and PTA if they have no executive board.
Thank you so much. Is Heather back on? Heather, are you back on? Going once, going twice, Heather.
I think she's trying to log back in.
Okay, thank you. Elena, is there anyone in the house?
I think that's it. We didn't have that many.
Okay, that's fine.
people who
So,
speak today.
Heather, are you back in?
She's trying to log back in.
Okay.
Sorry, this is Zoom. I had a few Zoom meetings all day today, and this happened a few times. So it's I don't think it's anyone's connection. So she's logging back in.
Yeah, it happened all day through me also when I'm at all of us, all Zoom calls all day. I'll start wrapping up the meeting. If she joins on before I wrap it up, we will definitely take about her question or comment. But in the meantime, I wanted to say thank you to all of you for joining today with us here. This is a platform where we will be sharing information. I want to thank Dr. Pate, the entire team, Sonia Rueda, and the entire team, Ms. Kong, who is there, who does a wonderful job with the community. We want to thank all of you for really being there to answer questions and also to really ensure that our children are doing the best they can do at this point. I understand, dear community, that we have a lot of concerns and we have ideas of how to make this better. Please continue to email. Please continue to come to the meetings, voice your concerns, write, send letters. This is a time to speak up, to have your voice heard. We want to say that also, the remote survey is being sent through Class Dojo. My kids got that. All the teachers are sending out the link to the Class Dojo to the children, the students, to go in there and fill out the survey. If you still need an equipment, a technology, a laptop, etc., iPad, sorry, for your kids at home, please still do call the number, press number 5, and request one. The deliveries are happening really quick.
VJ?
Yes, go
I'm
for
sorry,
it.
well, may I add just something to that in terms of the devices?
Please.
Good evening, school community, 28 school community. I just wanted to add that parents now have the opportunity to request help directly so that you can request a help desk ticket if you need assistance with technology, with the device. You do not have to go through now your parent coordinator or the school. You can ask for that directly, and I've shared that information with your parent coordinators. And then regarding financials for PA and PTAs, your end of the year financial has also been extended to October 31st. So you don't have to now stress over that. You can wait for October. Thank you.
Thank you. And if Ms. Kong, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
2 minutes. Yeah, please go ahead.
I just want to add on when Shirley Albin mentioned about special ed, that District 28 has met 98.7% in having the special ed remote learning plan uploaded to CEC. So when our numbers are dwindling down much more, so we want to thank also the BCO, Queen South BCO, in supporting, reaching out to principals to ensure that the special ed students plan is uploaded. Also, I would like to acknowledge 3 other principals who are on this meeting right now. Yes, we have Principal Hashberry Signal.
Yes. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. It's great to see everyone's face. Thank you so much.
Thank
And we have Principal Vincent Surachi. Mr. Surachi.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you.
And also Mr. Principal Patrick Burns from 217.
Good evening, everybody. A pleasure to see everybody this evening.
Thank you so much. Good to see your face, Mr. Sarachi. Thank you.
Nice to see you, sir.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kong, and thank you all. You know, this is a very great. Heather, are you back on, Heather? Heather?
Heather's back on.
Hi, I'm here.
More people
There
right
you
now.
are. Let's try it now. Go ahead.
And I'm going to not show you my face because I think that's what's screwing it up.
Okay, go for it.
The first thing I want to, a couple of things tonight. The first is wanted to get an understanding of the actual deadline for the remote learning survey because it hadn't been distributed to my school. So I wanted to confirm that deadline. I know as on the DOE site says it's due May 1, but considering it was amplified by Atlanta tonight, and thank you all you do, guys. I would like to know sort of what that deadline is. I see that somebody wrote in May 8th deadline. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm also concerned about how that word is supposed to be getting out, because it has not been communicated to Russell Sage. And that's a huge swath of parents in middle school that probably should be tuning in on this. So if we could somehow rectify that, that would be great. My other concern is ensuring that the halal meals that are getting offered are not just peanut butter and jelly and hummus and pita chips. There's been a lot of talk about that, and considering it's Ramadan, I don't think that's appropriate. So I'm hoping that that's getting rectified. And then lastly, I'm concerned about middle school, specifically with IEP students who are in integrated co-teaching classes, and maybe coming up with some sort of a way to get students to get that one-on-one sort of help that they get in the classroom when they're in ICT, you know, that occasional conversation, because they can see that the student is a little confused, because you really can't do that in a Zoom classroom, because it would almost be mortifying to a student, especially in middle school. So I'm wondering sort of what plans are in place for that, because right now I've gotten some really strong pushback from ICT, from a few ICT teachers, that that's just not possible. They don't have the bandwidth in their day to be logging on and working one-on-one with a student. And I think that that's going to be a real loss, because I think you genuinely don't get the advantage of the ICT program. So I guess it's three things: remote learning distribution and how that's getting sent out. Thank you for the May 8th date. Making sure that halal meals, specifically during this glorious season of Ramadan, that we're taking care of, making sure that those meals are more than just simply.
Thank you so much. We are the three.
And then how we can make a more robust ICT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so
much. That's it. Thank you so much.
Dr. Pei did take.
Thank you for your patience.
We did take. Thank you for your question. We'll take notes, and we will definitely. Dr. Pei, do you have anything to add?
Absolutely. No, we'll get. I'll
Thank you so
make sure
much.
that we'll get back. Absolutely.
Our next meeting will be on June. I'm looking right now. June 4th. June 4th at 6:30 p.m.
BJ, we did have two more people who were asked to speak. I'm not sure if we want to.
We kind of went. Okay, so they have to make it quick, right? Because we kind of like close off the session already. So let's just call them. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll take it.
Ellen is next.
We'll just take comments, right? Please.
Yes.
Hi, this is Ellen. I'm a parent at Junior High School 157 Halsey. And my question, I'm a parent of 7th graders. And my comment is, it would be wonderful if we could get some clear guidance on the best way for parents and students to get their voices heard as it relates to the decisioning process that I understand is currently underway for high school admissions criteria. I attended the, I think, parent advisory group meeting, and it was shared with us that engagement would be a big part of this process, but I haven't gotten any communication specifically on how to get engaged. There was talk of meetings being scheduled, and I don't want to miss those, so I just wanted to bring that here.
Okay, Sonia Roweda, can you please put your email on the sidebar? I'll appreciate that. So we're gonna have, Ellen, we're gonna have Sonia's email there on the side. And
okay.
So she will definitely, you can email her with that concern, and then she can definitely forward you something that, and if it's something we gotta get involved in also, we'll try to help out also.
So email Sonia to let her know my interest, and she'll let me know the best way to get involved.
Yes, so Sonia, gonna put her email address on the side on the chat over there.
Is that S. Ruida? Did I get that right? Okay, great.
Correct.
And then there was one follow-up, well, related to admissions, but specifically for specialized high schools. I thought that I heard the SHSAT acronym mentioned, although I may have heard wrong, when that lovely presentation was given by Shirley. So I just wanted to bring that up. Has any decisions around the SHSAT been made? And if so, what that might be? Or is that a separate process from the decisions that are in the process of being made for high schools in general?
I would just want to add very quickly that the enrollment office does have an email that you can send all your questions to. It's enrollmentfeedback@schools.nyc.gov, no space, enrollment feedback. So any questions that you have, any suggestions, anything around enrollment and admissions decisions can be sent to that email.
Judy, do you mind putting that email address on the sidebar, please? And also, Spice, do you mind just getting that email address so we can post it on our website?
Absolutely. I just have to figure out
Definitely.
where the sidebar is.
Okay, but also we'll reach out to you, Judy, and we'll get your contact information and have you send all those links.
Thank you. All right, that sounds good.
Our
I'm
website.
sorry.
And we'll post it on our website together with Sonia will give us some information. And
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Kong. I saw you posted it. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll have it on the CEC website. Friends, neighbors, fellow parents, teachers, principals, and everyone on this call, it was a pleasure. Keep well, stay well, and be well. Have a great evening, and thank you to our wonderful CEC members for all your wonderful work. It was a pleasure. Have a great evening.
Everybody.
Thank you. You can unmute yourself
Judy,
and
thank
all say
you.
bye.
Thank
Let's
you.
go.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye, Howard.
Everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Happy Mother's Day to all moms.
You too. Yeah, happy Mother's Day.
Good night, everybody.
How are you? One week. Take care, Paulette.
Simone, how are you?
Great to see you and lots of good luck.
Nice to meet you.
I think my scarf. Again.
Mother's Day,
Good to see my colleagues, my buddies.
How
are
Hi,
you?
Venus.
Hey, Paulette,
You know
how
you're gonna
are
have
you?
to come back
Good.
and visit us, right? Yeah, you know.
Good. Great to see you all.
Very
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paulette. We
Meeting.
miss you.
Great meeting. See you,
Thank you
Rena.
all so much.
Thank you for attending.
Bye. Take care. Bye. Well, hi, Simone. Hi.
Simone, I saw you.
Lee for the
Take care.
presentation.
Nadia,
Bye.
take care. Bye-bye.
Nadia, Saba, we have
Barbara.
Oh, everybody got us.
Elena, how are you? I think they're all gone. Just like that.
Hi, Guzman.
Hey, Rosa.
Maggie.
Hey.
Oh, Ms. Zovich is here. Hi, Ms. Zovich.
I'll be there.
Saba is here from PS 101. Yay.
Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Now,
Happy Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's
To
Day.
fathers too, Barbara. Fathers for mothers, right?
Put reminders all over the house. Maybe you all want to go ahead and do that.
Happy to see all of you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
See everyone.
Not everyone.
Hi, baby.
Bye.
Hi, F. Chin. Hi, Anita.
Happy Mother's Day for all those who are mothers.
And the fathers too.
Take care, Vivi.
Bye-bye. Nice to see you, Dr. Pate, Barbara, VJ,
Bye.
Shirley.
Hi, Renee.
Everybody.
I will be seeing you guys.
First thing in the morning.
Ciao.
Early in. Ashley. All right, everyone.
Hi, Ashley. Hi, Atina.
Ah. Here we go.
Okay, so Crystal at this time. Crystal?
Yes.
You're the host. So who is the host? Bye-bye, Dr. Pate. Early, thank you.
I can end the meeting, and then I just want to remind everyone, the CC members, you know what to do, right?
Yes, after.
I want to make sure nobody disappears. I'm
Can
ending the
you
meeting.
send a link and the paste to the chat so we can know what to log into, please?
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
So-
Shirley, thank you so much. Jessica, thank you so much. Good job.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. You can end this meeting, Elena. Go ahead.
We can just stay here.
No, no.
No, we can't.
Yes, please.
But hold on, don't paste the meeting. I wanna let's leave people first.
Okay. Did you guys receive my messages during the meeting?
Yes, I did receive a message, so I'm looking.
But they're lost in 100 other emails. It was
Is this meeting? Is the calendar meeting over? Should we stop the recording and then?
Yes, please stop the recording now.
Hold on.
This one. Oh, this meeting's adjourned at 8 o'clock. Sorry.
Okay. Make it.
You're dead.
We're taking a break.